everybody. This is Lisa Brarley. Welcome to Soulmates and Suitcases. This is episode 33. I'm here with my husband, Scott Brarley, and we have our special guest that you will be very excited to hear her story. She's an author and wrote an amazing fiction story that I know you'll be excited to hear about in this podcast. So welcome to Stephanie Woodman.
Welcome, and thank you so much for having me. If you don't mind, I'm at least going to put it up.
Yes, please.
It's official.
Contact Over Truk. Contact Over Truk. Thank you, Stephanie. Let's get into it.
It was great.
So what made you decide to write a book?
I went on a vacation in 1996 to Truk Lagoon. Have you ever heard of Truk?
No. We were Googling it and trying to figure out what Truk meant.
Yeah, so basically in World War II, it was a Japanese naval base similar to our Pearl Harbor. It's where their combined fleet was anchored, and very, very weird similarities. We caught them flat-footed, which was also a surprise. They knew we were coming, they just didn't know when. So the main combined fleet got out, but otherwise we trashed the base. Yeah. And Truk was, it had a tremendous mystique. It was called the Gibraltar of the Pacific and the guys were scared to death to go there because it just, oh my God, Truk. And so we destroyed the base. We sunk merchant ships. We sunk tankers, airplanes. So in 96, I went with some friends to go scuba dive on those ships. And I just went, naive going, hey, shipwrecks, isn't this fun? And then it changed drastically when I was down there and saw it. And it was like, And so that haunted me for 24 years. And I'd never planned to write a book. And there was some reason I had to write this book. And it's changed everything in my life. It was just a tremendous experience. And I finally was able to nail the story properly. I first wrote it in 2000, but it was bad. I couldn't write. I didn't, and so I put it away, and 20 years of life, and we all know what 20 years of life can bring. Mm-hmm. And so it did. And so I pulled it back out, started writing it at about 27 revisions, had to learn how to write, had to learn a whole bunch of stuff. Those visceral emotions, things of that nature, but finally there came a time where I nailed it, and I knew I did, because I was bawling. So it's okay. Yeah.
I can kind of relate. We've both written books, and like my book, I went over it, I bet you 500 times.
Yeah. And all of your books that you've written, other than the nutritional one, had some pretty emotional stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of experiences, a lot in there.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of writing my second book, and I'm finding it a little bit more challenging than my first one because I want it. How can I word it? I want it to be more impactful than. I look at my first book, and it was almost like just a purge.
Right.
And the second one, I want more about how I got to where I am, not all the negative stuff. I want all the healing stuff in it, and then history about trauma and history about I've done magic mushrooms for therapy, and I want history about that. And I want points, not just my story. I want evidence, and so people can read it and go, oh, because I've been around 12-step programs for years, and I've watched hundreds of people die that don't need to die anymore because there's different solutions. And that's not bashing the 12-step programs. That's just enhancing it.
Well, more information comes out every day. The 12 steps been around a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think they've updated it necessarily. So.
Yeah. And so why was it that you chose to go fiction with your book and instead of more nonfiction detail, or what is it that enthused you or excited you about doing fiction?
Actually, at one point I was going to take this nonfiction, but so there's a story that I was told while I was on board the ship. And so I basically, let me kind of backtrack and explain. what happened on this trip. So I was on a live aboard dive vessel with like 3 other Americans, my friends, 4 Germans, 3 Japanese, a couple from England, a lady from Scotland. And so we dove together. We ate dinner together. We socialized together. So everything was fine. But when I started going down in the ships and seeing all that happened, that started changing my perspective of the whole experience. And then one night I was in the salon, and I was the only American. My friends were all in their cabins and so forth. And the captain of the ship popped in the newsreel video of the bombing.
Mm.
And the 4 Germans were there, the 3 Japanese was there, the girl from Scotland was there. And when the thing was done, it was dead silence, because it just completely changed the whole complexion of the vacation. And then one of the German boys popped up. Well, that's just propaganda. And then they got off and went up and played. And that started making me think about what it would be like to come from the countries, Germany, Japan, and so forth. How much did they really know? How would it feel to be young and very loyal to your country, but yet still have this history? And the newsreel videos were propaganda. They were all about rah, rah allies. We should feel good about our guys. So that brought in a whole interesting perspective. But then one night I was told a tale, and this is the tale that I was going to try to authenticate. And the tale was about a retired pilot that came back later in life, US pilot, to scuba dive on the ship he sank and died during the dive.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so that hit hard. So I tried like the devil to get this authenticated, but I never could. I tried every which way. I went back to my source. He shined me on. I tried every which way possible. But then I sort of had to stop and say, okay, well, let's think about this. Because when I first wrote this in 2000, I wrote him dying. But then, as a diver, he could have just, kicked his fins, silted the place out, and just lost his way. And then ran out of air. He could have had a heart attack. He could have died intentionally. So the point is, we would never know. And so writing it with the character dying, even if I could authenticate it, we would never know why. Okay. And I didn't like that. After 20 years of loss and so forth, I didn't want that. So I thought, since I couldn't authenticate it, I took it a different direction and wrote it the way I wanted it to end. But along the way, other characters had to start popping up. And it was as other people wrote it, they're like, you got to do something with this character, and you need somebody here, and so forth, which began to broaden the story. And so what I did, the other main character in the book is a Japanese man. And it's because there were 3 Japanese on the boat that I had dinner with, and we dove with the young lady. And so I started thinking about, well, what role would he have? And I decided that the son of a Japanese man who was at the battle. And the son is very important in Japanese culture. So that led me to researching what childhood was like for a little boy in Japan, which uncovered a tremendous amount of information. I never knew about the fire bombings. I never knew how god-awful horrific those were. The first bombing, March 10th, 1945. Actually, there was more loss of life. That is this today, the single largest loss of life for a one-night raid, surpassing the atomic bombs.
Wow.
And so, but it wasn't just the firebombing. It was the tremendous starvation that was going on. It was what happens after the firebombing and the chaos in the country, and what happened to the orphans of the fire bombings. And so that led to a whole different perspective of war. And so then through his wife even has a story, because I wanted to she was also an orphan, but she had a different experience. he's not an orphan. He had his mother, so he had that experience. And then I brought a couple islanders to show the islanders' experience. And then there's another character in the book, a female, and she represents the family of someone who died in battle and their bodies were never recovered. So therefore, they were never truly able to get closure. So the evolution of this story, and that's really why it had to be fictionalized, because I couldn't authenticate it, but it spread out to being so many different perspectives of a single event. Because that's really what life is. Life is never a single perspective. No matter how much I can get in my head and be upset about something, the reality is I'm only seeing it or feeling at it from my perspective. Yeah. So that's a long answer as to why it ended up being historical. Plus, I found so many interesting historical tidbits, and that was part of the fun, was when I found a way to weave them together into a plausible story. So I kept almost all of the events are accurate. I made sure the history was accurate.
Ironically enough, people would actually get some heat, like grandkids and stuff that heard stories from their parents. And obviously the trauma gets passed down generation. And if they read the book, though, ironically, they would get a different perspective.
They would.
Yeah.
Because it would help clear some up. Not that it's history, but it's unknown. And you're talking about different cultures and different avenues. And that would be a fairly, I think, fairly healing for people.
It was. In fact, I've been contacted by a few people, and it's been interesting. One gentleman contacted me, and he's over either in England or New Zealand or Australia, because he spells mom, M-U-M, mom. And after he read the first chapter, which is a gut punch. I wrote the first chapter. It starts very dark. I wrote it really well. That was my cathartic chapter. I got rid of a whole bunch of stuff during that chapter. Anyway, after he read it, he contacted me and thanked me, because for 58 years, he had not grieved his own mother's death. And reading that chapter, it caused him to vent it. Yeah. And then I had another guy, Mike, who contacted me. He's in Japan. He gave me the best review I'll ever have for anything. He was at Truk. He was a Vietnam vet. His dad was a World War II pilot in the Pacific area. He was dove on Truk. He had a PTSD experience from a helicopter crash that he experienced in Vietnam, where he lived, but his buddy didn't. So he had so many connections to the story, which was fascinating. And he lives in Japan. And so he contacted me, and we've exchanged information, but in the review that he gave me, he actually put near the end that it helped him with his own combat loss.
Wow. See, that's incredible. I think that's the cool thing when people like yourself or like us who decide to write a book, you never know who you're going to impact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which has been absolutely incredible. And before, just to backtrack a little bit, you were talking about perspectives and how everyone has their own view on life. And that's one of the things that you discovered when you were writing your book, and then later talking to your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's like we all have the same experience, but our perspective's different.
In the same family.
The same family. It's really crazy.
But isn't it interesting how you work? Your work ends up, as you said, it goes out in this world almost like a child.
Yeah.
I launched it in the world, and it's interesting that it finds its way to people who need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you guys are doing with your podcast. Your podcast is getting to people who need it. Yeah. It's interesting.
It is very interesting.
I find it ironic though, like you're a scuba. I didn't know you were a scuba diver. And I don't know if you see what shirt I'm wearing.
Oh, attaboy.
I'm wearing a scuba diving shirt.
Oh yeah, Manta Ray right there.
Okay. La Paz. This one's from La Paz, but
I love La Paz.
Yeah. So I don't know, life's weird, and these podcasts have broadened my life so much, listening to the different people we've had on. and it's got to change you. And I know one of my friends, she just goes, I just started listening to your podcast, and she goes, they're really interesting. It took a while, but and I know it's going to take off because we're getting some really interesting people like yourself on it. And
You have a wide variety.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's the first thing that appealed to me. It's like, wow, you covered a spectrum,
well,
and that's nice.
we just want to put it out there to get people to heal and help this world. Like that's the only reason we're even doing it, because it's like I stumbled for so many years in life, and I mean, probably almost everybody stumbles, and some of us a little bit more and some a little bit less. And it's like, what a better avenue of a place for people to find somewhere to heal a bit than
Mm-hmm.
people just having conversations.
And
But
make,
your healing, what you guys are doing, your healing is from. I mean, you got the physical, you got the emotional, you got the financial. You're you're
Yeah,
covering a lot. So that's a good job.
yeah, thank you.
thanks.
Appreciate that. And so let's back up because can you tell us a little bit more about you as a person and what you did, where you grew up, and like you were a teacher, you're a Navy pilot, like,
No,
woo.
no, no. I've never been a Navy pilot.
Oh, okay.
No, no.
Oh, you were a teacher though, is that
I
right?
was an engineer and
Oh,
teacher.
engineer and
So
teacher.
I spent 20 years or so in industry as an engineer.
Okay.
And then I had retired when I had my son. And when he got a little bit older, I was particularly unhappy with his math education. And I thought, I'm an engineer, I can do this. And so I went and became a teacher and started teaching high school math. And so the kids were great. Uh, the bureaucracy, not so much. Didn't have a whole lot of patience from that. Coming from industry, it's like, no. And COVID pretty much did me in on that one. So, but the book was always in the background. So after I retired from teaching, I finally said, okay, I either got to write the book or drop it. But yeah, but that was also part of it because I'm an engineer and I am very definitively an engineer brain. So I'm very methodical. I'm very analytical. I'm very structured. I'm very, task oriented. Stepping stones. So that was, and even when you're a teacher, you well know that your emotions have to stay in. You have to be the adult. You have to be rational. You have to calm emotional kids down. You have to direct. So when it came to writing, that was the first, my first few drafts. It was a nice story, but it certainly wasn't compelling because we just didn't really go down this emotional path. Right? We don't want to have to deal with that. So I actually had to start researching emotions.
Yeah.
I needed a whole vocabulary that I never had. So
Yeah.
it was
So
interesting.
so what did you feel then that how did you grow from becoming an author? What changed
Oh,
life? Yeah.
massive, massive. One, I did develop this vocabulary of emotions. I did recognize that I actually had them. I just never had the words that went along with
Yeah.
it. But because this thing is a pretty darn emotional book, um, and it was hugely cathartic for me. I mean, there was so much. There's a lot of me in this book, but um, so much came out because of the emotional aspects of it, and venting that, as you guys well know, you can't move forward until you've vented
Yeah.
because you just got that baggage coming with you.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was a tremendous release. And then starting something brand new, kind of late in life, um, and getting to a point where, oh, I actually can do this. I started seeing myself from a different perspective. And then it's a creative. As much as you put out emotional, and you guys know because you've written a book, you've both written books, as much as you have some structure and so forth, it is still a creative. It's allowing your brain to flow. And that's a different feeling completely from structural engineer. I mean, I'm a chemical, but, engineer and tasks and analytics and so forth. It's a completely different and then, of course, as you also well know, once you've put yourself out there,
Mhm.
then it's like, okay,
I'm out here now.
I'm out here, and boy, am I exposed. So, okay, then you have to go through the imposter syndrome and get to a point where, you know, some people are going to like it, some people are not going to like it, and it is what it is. And you have to, so it's changed so much of me. And I also found a new passion. Absolutely, thoroughly enjoyed all this.
Oh, so does that mean there's another book in the works?
There is one, it's done, which I'm
Oh,
thrilled to say. I'm hugely excited by this one. It is out for editorial reviews. So the launch day will be February 26th of 26.
ah,
Nice.
congratulations. That's
Thank you.
exciting. Any little insight as to what it might be about?
This one, Eye Contact has flashbacks to World War II, but the new book is set completely in World War II. It's from February of 44 to May of 45 in the Pacific.
Very
Two
good.
characters. One is a nurse on a hospital ship. The other character is a Japanese pilot.
Nice.
Amazing, amazing.
We've had the privilege to go to Bridge Over Kwai a few times.
Oh, wow.
And the first time we went, it was really emotional. And then learning some history about it, it's like it was actually a pilot from Vancouver, Canada, that dropped the first bomb on the bridge.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like just tidbits of that, and it's like we've been to, oh my God, Vietnam to see, no, not Vietnam,
Cambodia.
Cambodia, and the regime that went through there, and that, like, I was a kid when it happened, and there was nothing. Never heard of it till I went there, and how many people that were killed from Kumar regime.
Khmer Rouge.
Yeah, Khmer Rouge
Khmer Rouge,
regime, and it's like, why don't,
intense.
yeah, it was intense, and why doesn't the world know about it?
There is so much history that we don't know.
Yeah,
We don't know. And it's fascinating. And it's a fascinating thing to see that history, to write about it,
Yeah.
and to understand the horrific aspects, the unimaginable horrific aspects. But then by the same token, life keeps going.
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's on a grand scale. Our own personal traumas are on a smaller scale, but yet life keeps going.
100%.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, and being open, like I feel like the masses of people who are writing personal books and personal stories and is really like exploding,
Mhm.
and we get to just learn about others. Like I think it's just really great that we get to do that, and we get to know we're not alone and can connect with other people in some way.
Right.
Yeah, through their story.
Yeah, it's interesting. So much out there. So you are my first video podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
Huh.
So yes, of course, your video on YouTube and Spotify's audio. Just audio on there.
Right.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, where else have you scuba dove?
La Paz, a couple of times. I've been to the Great Barrier Reef. I've been all over. I won't say all over, but multiple places in the Caribbean. Palau, when I did the truck, we also hopped over to Palau and did Palau for a week. Hawaii, up and down the coast of California, but it's cold.
Yeah.
I've done it. It's cold though. Multiple places in the Caribbean. That's it.
Cool. Do you
Send some light diving.
desire to scuba dive anywhere else in the world? Australia?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yes. There's. I don't know that I'll make it, but I have been looking up Galapagos.
Very good. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, and best of luck with your podcast.
Thank you very much. And best of luck with your second book, February 26, 2026. Exciting.
Thank you very much. You guys take care.
And actually, there's one other thing that we've dropped the ball on.
What's that?
Where can people find you?
Oh, where can people get your book and find you?
Everywhere. Everywhere, literally everywhere. Barnes and Nobles won't carry it in-house yet, but it's on their site. It's on Amazon. It's on Kobo. It's on Apple, Google, Bookshop.org. I mean, Walmart.
Nice.
Perfect.
I went wide, so it's basically everywhere.
Perfect. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
You cherish